says it's going. I'm live. Okay, awesome. Thank the Lord. So it was saying going. Nothing was happening. I didn't know. And if you saw Instagram stories today, you will know that I want to throw every electronic device out the window, off a cliff, off a bridge. So I really hope that this live goes okay. I don't know what's going to happen. So hopefully you're there. Hopefully I'm there. I don't know, but I'm going to do it and we're going to see what happens. It keeps like stopping as I'm looking at myself. I don't know what that means. I've never had tech issues doing a live before. So I would really love it. Whoever's here right now, if you can just leave me any comments as to what's happening, what you're seeing for me, if it's coming through okay. So I'm not like stopping and talking about it. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today on what will be the last live stream for a little while. It doesn't mean I'm not going to do them. I'm just not going to have them scheduled in a way that I have been. I've really loved doing these lives and I have a lot to talk about today and I want to do a lot of questions. Oh, good. Thank you so much. Brookwick, thank you so much. I have some things to talk about as far as the improvements and changes for 2020. This is kind of like an extension from the live I did last week. Where I went through all of my goals and milestones and plans and future shenanigans. And then I have a confession. And could be a big one. I don't know. We'll see what everybody thinks about it. I think it's a big deal because I haven't said it yet. So it's like something. But I want to give it a couple of minutes at least to let some people get in. So what I thought I would do is start off with some good news. This is not the confession. This is something else. And I'm about to show you. This feels very weird. 1, 2, 3. Woo! 5,000 items sold on Poshmark. Yay! So, I made this shirt and I would really like to know for those that are watching live or will watch it, if you would want one like this, I will put them up as a design in my Reseller Mom Show Etsy store. If you think it's stupid and you would never want one, tell me because I don't want to waste the time doing it. Nobody would ever want one, but I made one for me because I thought it was so cool. So I've been on Poshmark. My Poshversary is in June, so a little over 3 years. It took me to sell 5,000 items. I'm actually well over 5,000 items, but I wanted to wait till the live to do it, and I had to wait for my shirt to come in, so I'm probably over 51 or 5,200 by now, but it's so exciting. Thank you, woohoo! So I'm a big milestone person. Like I love to see this. It looks like I ran a 5K, but I don't run 5Ks. I sell 5,000 items. That's what I do. That's what this girl does. So that's a problem when you're like, I need to sit on something. Anyway, Congress. Oh, should that be congrats? I was like, what about Congress? What's happening? So what was I going to say? Darn it. Milestone person. I love milestones. I love tracking all this stuff. I'm in the process of overhauling my spreadsheet. Not overhauling it, but adding some additional trackers and improvements so that I can keep track of milestones. I think we get so bogged down in like the goals and our monthly, goal that we have to sell and all this stuff that we forget to like look back cumulatively at what we have accomplished. Like I've sold 5,000 items on Poshmark alone. That's just Poshmark. That's not Mercari. That's not Citizen. That's not eBay. That's not Locally. That's not anything else but Poshmark. And I love it because they have it there. Like they tell you exactly how much you've made, exactly how many you've sold. I love that. So I would encourage you to do a celebration when you hit a big milestone. Tell me in the chat here and in the comments for those watching how many items you've sold on Poshmark. Check your Posh stats and let me know. I'm really curious actually. That's my kind of 5K. Yeah, like I have run like 2 5Ks. Not in any kind of good amount of time. And I would like to do that. Like I'd like to be a long distance runner. I think that would be cool. The problem is I hate running. Therefore I can't train to get to be a good runner. Like I would like to be a good runner where it's like, but like right now it's like my butt is too big and it just like, it's a whole big effort. So information. Oh, I got an offer. All right, we'll deal with you later. Okay, so let's talk about our topics for today. I want to be mindful of everybody, and I want to keep everybody on track. And then, of course, I don't want to leave poor Gio at school. So, and I do want to try to keep up with the chat. So milestones, great idea, because we do get caught up in the daily grind and feel like we aren't accomplishing what we need. Yes, absolutely. We recently went over 1 million in sales since Joe started reselling 6 years ago. Wow. Hey, Jessica, that's the Family Flips. If you haven't checked out their channel, please do. It was fantastic chatting with you, and I look forward to getting that live here soon. Let's see. And $1 million, like, that's amazing. And that's why I kind of want to start tracking the milestones more and setting up trackers in my spreadsheet so that I can get excited when I hit the $1 million mark. I'm nowhere near the $1 million mark. I'm trying to think. I could probably be celebrating like 250,000 soon. Again, I go by reseller mom years. So for those of you that are familiar with dog years, you'll know that there's like an equivalent thing like 7 years or whatever. So in reseller mom years, what a normal person can do in a year, a reseller mom may take a few years to get to that point. That's how I'm measuring things. LOL, not real is good. Yes, I have only sold 107, but only now have 200 active lists. That's great. 107 items sold out of 200 active lists. Like, that's great. You're doing great, Tracy. Awesome. Good for you. And like, before you know it, that's going to get to be 1,000 items sold. So, okay, let's talk about the changes and improvements and things that I am doing differently between 2019 and 2020. And I share this not to be like, oh, here's all the stuff I'm doing, but just to say, like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm not doing. For me, those are the decisions that I'm making so that it will inspire you to think about what changes and improvements you should make for your own business. Not that you should do what I'm doing, because as we all know from watching various reselling YouTubers, our businesses are all so different. So this is not a, do what I'm doing kind of thing. This is a see that I'm making a change, deliberately thinking about my business in new ways, and having the courage to make changes, and not just being stuck in a rut and doing the same old thing just because, seeing what happens when you break stuff and change something about your business. So, okay. I think 2 of these things I went over last week when I went over my goals and plans, but the first one is that I'm putting eBay on hold. So I'm putting eBay in a timeout. I saw somebody, I can't remember who, it's like a couple, and they said they put eBay in timeout. And I'm like, yes, that is what eBay is going in timeout. And I feel like when eBay knows that I'm thinking of putting eBay in a timeout, that's when it decides to be on its best behavior. So like this week has actually been, not such a bad week for eBay sales. And I'm like, oh, am I really making the right decision? But I am, because I know that all of what goes into eBay and all of what makes me upset about eBay throughout the year is going to be well worth it to take a break from and retool my eBay strategy should I decide to go back. So I'm putting eBay on hold. I'm actually not going to wait until 2020 to start that. I want to be set by 2020 for pretty much all of my goals. That's the other kind of overarching theme that I would mention, is that if you're making your goals and plans for 2020 right now, consider transitioning now into those. What is it going to look like to make the transition? Not all of a sudden it turns January 1, you still have your hangover from your New Year's Eve, whatever, and your kids wake up 7 a.m. even though they didn't stay up till midnight. And you're like, okay, great. Now I have to do all these 5 million things I put on my goals list. Like, no, transition now and set yourself up for success and execute in 2020. So I'm putting eBay on hold. I'm just going to sell on Poshmark and Mercari. All of the items are going to get cross-posted to both platforms, and those are going to be my 2 main sources. Now, up until this point, eBay and Poshmark have been usually in a dead heat, pretty even as far as sales go, up until just recently. And that's why I decided to let eBay fall by the wayside for a little while. So Poshmark has really taken the lead, and then eBay is a second, and then Mercari is a third. So what I'm trying to test out and see is the pluses outweighing the minuses as far as getting rid of eBay, not having to deal with those kinds of returns, running sales, spending the time to do that, revising listings, paying my virtual assistant to list on there, all of that. And can Mercari then kind of run the close second, or is Mercari always going to stay at that low level? So that's what we're going to see. So that's the first one. The second one is that I will be parting ways with my photographer. For those of you that have watched me on YouTube or have seen my stuff on Instagram, you know I have a photographer here locally that takes photos for me. And we've been working together for, it'll be 2 years in December, so just almost 2 years. And she's helped me through a lot, and she has helped my business tremendously. And there are definitely periods of time where nothing would get listed if I didn't have her work and her help and her support in my business. So we're parting amicably. It doesn't mean we're going to part for forever, but for right now, we had made some changes to our working relationship as far as how we were doing it, the number of things that we were doing, and the amount of pay. And all of those things combined, along with some other factors, really hit my cash flow hard. And I'm kind of retooling around that. And so I will be taking all the photos myself. So if you are curious about getting a photographer or how to do that, I have videos on that. So check all of those out on the channel, because I do think it's a great way. And in the future, once I kind of rewrap my arms around everything process wise and numbers wise and, like cash flow wise, I will be having either her or someone else take that role again, because I don't want to be doing that. Like, I don't mind it. I do it because I want to always be involved in it and be doing those things. But I don't want my business to rely solely on my work to operate. I want my efforts to be bonus, and I want to pay someone to do those basic things for me. And so the plan will be in the future, once I retool, to actually have that role come back. They'll just be different. So I will be taking all the photos and I will be doing the information to give my virtual assistant listings. So when you see me on my what sold videos and I'm kind of like blaming one of them for a mistake in the listing, now it's all going to be my fault, because I will have no one to blame anymore. I mean, I'll still probably try to blame it on my virtual assistant just because, but I can do no wrong. But so everything will be my fault going forward. If you have questions on that, put them, anything that I talk about, put them in. I'll keep going through it and then we'll go to questions. A lot of the changes that I'm making are going to be around sourcing. And I do want to do a separate video about like how to become a more disciplined sourcer, because I keep saying that that's what I'm trying to do, but my actions don't always line up to that. So I feel like if I start talking about it more on my channel, then I'll feel more accountable to you to do the things that I'm saying or the things that I want to do, but I don't always do them because no one is like paying attention to it. So sometimes I need that, you guys, as an accountability partner collectively, and I appreciate that. So, okay. I don't want to do any more flat lays. I don't have a system for that these days. Everything that I save for a flat lay ends up in this corner over here. And I eventually do it when I have no more room. And it doesn't mean that I won't ever do a flat lay, but I really want to consciously, proactively not pick up items knowing full well that I have to take photos of them in a flat lay format, because I don't do things on a table anymore. I have the hanging setup. This setup works really well. And I just want to keep banging through the same things. Like, I just want it to be very systematized, very processed. Like, I know exactly how many items, I have this many hours to do it, knock it all out and move on. So no flat lay. And if I can help it, no mannequin. Every once in a while, I'll pick up something thinking I could hang it. And then once I do hang it, it doesn't look right. And I decide to put it on the mannequin. I guess that's it. And I don't even have a mannequin. I mean, my hanging half mannequin, Amy, who's in the corner over there. So I hang her up right here. She's the half sticking out of the wall kind. And mostly I use her for bathing suits. And it is such a pain in the everything has to be easy. I want to clip it on a hanger and hang it up on the wall, and that's it. I don't want to do any more of this flat lay business. I don't want to do any more mannequin business. So I'm going to purposely try to source items that are not for those formats. I'm shooting for $20 sale price plus. So that doesn't mean that I won't sell things for less than $20. It doesn't mean obviously I'm looking for, I want higher ones, but I feel like if I can be shooting for 20 that means it's going to end up selling for 15 and for the most part. And then I'm, on Poshmark, let's say clearing 12. And if I'm doing most of the work myself, that's an okay area because I could pay $1 to my VA. Maybe my average cost is $1 to $2. And so I'm making $9 or $10 profit. And so I'm cool with that. So I feel like if it's more, then that's great. And I would love it to be more. But I feel like $20 items is like a good sweet spot for me. So that's really what I'm going to try to have in mind. Quality over quantity. So one of the things that was preventing me from really doing this with sourcing was the fact that I had other people relying on me, and I had quoted them a certain amount of work each week, like my photographer, like my virtual assistant. And so I felt that pressure to always have a certain amount of items. And so I would buy things sometimes when I shouldn't have bought them. When I said I was raising my game on sourcing and I didn't do it. I reneged on it and I bought something that I shouldn't have just to have an item for them to list or to photograph because I had quoted them an amount. And I no longer want to do that. I no longer want to be under pressure. It's my business. And if I find an item that's worth selling, I will buy it and I will, do it. And if I don't find any items when I go to the bins that's not worth listing, then I'm not buying anything. And that's the end of it. Like I'm putting my foot down with myself. So that's one. Things must have tags. No more buying things on it doesn't have a size tag. And so I'm just going to approximate it. No, gone. No more must have tags. Must have a brand name. No more, oh, it's cute, vintage, whatever. No more, it's this cute boutique on trend, whatever. Because I don't wear things that are on trend. I don't know what's in style, and I can't trust myself to think that it is in style. And that is like the truth of it. Again, I'm going to do my confession of what I wanted to share and what I teased in the thumbnail at the end of this and our questions, but no more vintage, no more no name. Obviously, I would like things that are trendy and cute, but it has to be a brand that's trendy and cute. And I'm not even going to trust myself to think it's trendy and cute. I'm going to go off of what some external factor says, because clearly my trendy and cute is not what's actually trendy and cute. I need to increase my quality check for flaws. I think part of the quota thing, part of the being time pressed thing sometimes lead me to be like, oh yeah, it's good. And I need to scrutinize these items. I mean, again, if you're buying it at the bins and it's a flowy top and it's under £1, okay, it cost you 60 cents and you made a mistake and you get it home and there's a giant stain, you didn't see it, or a hole in the armpit or whatever, like it's going to happen. It's just going to happen. So I'm going to give myself grace for that. But I know that I cut corners on my quality checks. I did a whole video about my quality checks. And sometimes, even though that's what I said one should do when quality checking your items, sometimes I still skip corners. Cut corners, skip. What do you skip? You cut whatever. So I need to be better about that. So that is a change. Like these are things that I'm going to constantly remind myself of. Some of them were bigger changes than others. The two biggest changes were the photographer, going away and eBay going away. But I thought I would go through these things because they are changes and hopefully they are improvements. And then we'll talk questions and the confession. Spend more time sourcing and being okay with less items. Again, we're moms. If we have kid-free time to go sourcing, we are on a mission. Get out of our way. I know for me, like when I'm at the bins, it is serious mode. It is not, let's chit chat with the bins people. Like it is like, bam. And so I'm trying to find as much as I can, as quickly as I can. And then I want to leave and I want to go to Chick-fil-A. No, I'm just kidding. But I do go to Chick-fil-A. And so I am really now understanding the power of what YouTubers, I'm going to call him my YouTube mentor, Chris at Daily Refinement. Shout out to him. He has the time and ability to test a lot of things that I don't always have time to do because he doesn't have his kids yet. And so I wish him, all the kids in the world with his new wife. But like I looked at him like, oh, he could try all this stuff because he has all the time in the world and he can do all these things. And he's always said, spend more time sourcing, buy better items. That's where you should spend your time, not on all the other stuff. You should spend your time sourcing if you want to do better. And I'm always like, yeah, but you have all the time in the world. I need to start putting that into practice. And I need to be okay with literally driving 30 minutes to the bins, paying tolls, and being okay with walking away with nothing if I don't find things that meet my criteria from now on. Like, I have to be prepared to walk away with nothing if it doesn't meet my goals, because I will put that stuff in my store. I will take photos of it, take time away from my kid, take photos of it, take up space in my storage unit to store it, and have it never sell, and then have to put it on clearance and have to do all of these things when I should have never bought it in the first place. And think of how much time and effort in sharing, in relisting, and revising, and take all the stuff that you do on the back end when you should have never bought it in the first place. So if anybody is out there that has that issue where you feel pressured to buy things because it's the only time that you can buy things and you buy things that you shouldn't have, put an emoji in the chat right now. I've never done that. I see people do that. What is it? The husband and the wife team. Oh my God, I always said I would never call people out that I can't remember. The Flamingo, Thrifty Flamingo, Karen and her husband. They always say, like, put this emoji in the chat. Come on, don't leave me hanging. Put some emojis in the chat. Nobody's doing it. Okay, whatever, fine. Okay, I'm moving on. Embarrassing. Wah. Okay, we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna pretend that didn't happen. Okay, no more costumes, no more ugly Christmas sweaters. I've made videos on these, definitely on, there's some, thank you, Trisha. No. Yeah, Trisha. No, the other lady's name was Mark. Trisha. Yes, thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much. And then I'll go back up and we'll talk about the other things. But so no costumes, no Halloween costumes, no costumes, no costumes, no costumes, no ugly Christmas sweaters. I've decided. I love it. I do. And I made a video about selling Halloween costumes, and I've talked about ugly Christmas sweaters a lot, and they do bring me joy, but they don't bring me a lot of money. And if I'm going to be doing all of this myself now, just paying somebody to do it, I need to be really mindful of my time and what I'm spending it on. So for the time being, moratorium, no costumes, no ugly Christmas sweaters. That may not be a problem for you, but it's a problem for me because I see ugly Christmas sweaters all the time. There's a bins buddy that I have, and literally he finds all the ugly Christmas sweaters and gives them to me. And I'm like, I have to tell him I don't want to sell them anymore. I'm going to get my cost of goods as low as possible until my profit is on track, and we'll talk more about that shortly. But I think if you're not paying attention to your cost of goods and having it be lower, and you're one of the people that, say, oh, I'll pay up, and then have cash flow problems, it's something to think about. That's you should spend some change time around there. No more maternity items. There's a few exceptions to that, like a nice high-end dress of a certain brand, perhaps, or very distressed maternity jeans, because those seem to sell well. But for the most part, like, no more maternity tops. I don't want to see it anymore. Most maternity, like, no more maternity. Not doing it. I'm going to be highly selective on kids. No steaming unless it's over $30. I'm going to try to go quickly here. Unless it's over $30 of an item. Otherwise, I shouldn't be buying it. Don't spend your time on steaming. I love my steamer. Sandy, I love her. But I don't want to pull her out and do the thing and wait for her to warm up. Like, no. If I can help it, no reseller laundry. That's another thing. I have a giant pile over here. Luckily, my mom is coming to Snowbird in Florida here, and she is my trusty laundry helper, because sometimes I don't want to spend the time, like, treating stains and stuff. Like, if I could throw it in the wash and that's it, and that solves the problem, then that's fine. But when I have to do, like, serious business to it, I don't want to do that anymore. The only exceptions to that will be if I do more ordering from, like, liquidation sites of customer returns, because I have had really good luck with that stuff. And so I do think that is somewhat worth it. But I'm not going to any longer buy something and say, oh, I could just throw it in the wash. No, it stays at the bins. More emojis. Thank you so much. No more maxi things. No more maxi things, like long things. Like, I'm over it. Maybe I should have put that higher, but then I would have never do it. But It doesn't come out good. I don't like doing it. It's time consuming to take the photo nicely. And then I have to do some like cropping and setting it up in the Over app and all this stuff to get it in square mode. I'm not doing it anymore. It's not worth my time. I'm going to be doing more sales analysis. So I have that specifically somewhere. And if you were on the video last week about goals and stuff, I'm going to go down to 2 shows on YouTube. I'm going to be doing the What Sold on Sunday, and I'm going to be doing the Momversations on Saturday. And just doing 2 videos a week until I can get some things taken care of. And then my reward, when I hit certain criteria, will be to do a YouTube video, because I don't want to limit myself on YouTube. If anything, I want to do more YouTube. I really like doing it. But I have to get things on track. And so we're going to talk about that. But I have to get some things on track, time-wise, money-wise, etc. That has to happen first. And then I can do more fun YouTube with you guys, because I love it. I'm going to go from 3 posts on Instagram to 1 post on Instagram per day. And that's the post. And I don't know how much you guys post, but if you are posting a lot and you're not where you want to be reselling, you need to look at how much time you spend on social media. And I'm not saying cut it out or anything. I'm saying that's what I'm going to do. And it's a bummer because it does bring me joy. I like sharing. I wish I could actually spend more time on Instagram instead of just putting out my stuff, but taking in more of what you guys are doing. Because I get great ideas that way. I get inspired that way. I understand what people are talking about. Like, I like it, but I have to keep my head down right now. If I don't have all the time in the world, I have to keep my head down and build the business that I want before I can come up out of the sand and, do all of these other things that I want to do. But I need to put some, what is the word? I need to crack down on myself a little bit. I am going to be focusing on my print on demand side of things. I've talked about that a little bit on the live stream last week, and then also in my multiple income streams video. So if you haven't seen that, please check that out. But I am going to be working more on print on demand and trying to build up that side of my business to help me get some more residual / passive, if you want to call it that, income coming in. Couple quick things, and then we'll go to the chat, and then we'll do the confession. I read a book called Profit First. The author is Mike Michalowicz. He's written several books. I've read 2 or 3 of them at this point. They're awesome. I love them. He's from Jersey, so I love his whole thing. And I listened to the audiobook, so you get him reading his own book, which I like. So I haven't actually I don't have the books, but I did put them in my Amazon store under the Reseller Mom Show book club. If you want to check any of them out, ideally, I'd like to do a video about how I've read all his books and what I've taken away from them as far as reselling goes and put into practice in my business, because it's a lot. And so I would encourage you to check out his books and buy them through my Amazon link. That'd be great. Thanks. But his Profit First book is great. I've read it or listened to it, and I'm working through the action plan right now about putting profit first in your business. If you're having any kind of cash flow or profit problems, I highly encourage you to check it out. I think it would be really beneficial to you. I'm really excited about it. I'm overhauling my custom spreadsheet. And again, I say overhauling, I'm just making more improvements to be able to track more things so that I can know more about my business to make better business decisions. So initially, when I had the girl help me out with it, it was just kind of setting up a lot of the basic tracking. And now I'm going to be doing more of analytics. And so I'm really excited about that. So I will share more about that as I get it. But that is going to be a change of really looking at my numbers, spending time looking at the numbers where I didn't before. Now that I have had a little bit more time open up, and in the 2020 year, Gio will be going to VPK. So he'll go from 3 half days a week to 5 half days a week in the new school year. So that's kind of why a lot of these things are being put into my 2020 plan, because I do foresee that I will have more time available to work in the coming months. Granted, it's 9 months away or something like that, but 10 months. I've changed my virtual assistant's job scope and listing process. I won't get into all of that specifically, but if you are working with a VA, if you're not working with a VA, if there are ways that you can bring people into your business, part ways with people from your business, this is the time to be thinking about that stuff. So I talked a lot about that in the last live stream, so I'm not going to get into all of it. I'm actually going to be making some guidelines to my local closet clear out service that I do locally. I've had a lot of success with it locally, and I have a resource on the Etsy shop about it that you can purchase. I have some videos about it. I talk about it all the time, and I think I'm going to be doing some restrictions and paring some things down with regards to that service because it has been pretty successful locally, and I think I need to kind of rein it in a little bit. So I will be working on that. I think that I'm going to just kind of stop talking about a lot of this because I feel like I'm just rambling. But my main point with this is if you're not someone that normally takes stock in your business, now is the time of year to be doing it. What is working? What is not working? Figure out why and brainstorm some ways to change it in the new year, and then work on transitioning to those changes now so that by the time the new year comes, you're ready to hit the ground running. You already know what your challenges are. You've made your tweaks, you've broken it, you've fixed it, and you can just execute. My whole mantra for 2020 is profit, 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 execute, execute, execute. Like, I don't want to know from nothing. Those are the only things that I'm focused on. So I'm going to end that portion of it. Let's go to the chat. So if you have questions, put them in. And then I will share my confession. Let's see. Let me go back up a little bit. Did that. Yeah, they're live. So glad I caught you, Rebecca. Hi, everyone. Hey, Quemby, how are you? Thank you for joining me. Thank you for saying yes. Please hit the like button. Thank you so much. Hello, Melissa. Thank you guys for putting in the emojis. I appreciate it. I just wanted to give it a try. Like, if you've watched me a little while, you know that like when I see someone else do something and it feels uncomfortable to me, or it seems like it might be beneficial or cool, like I push myself to try it, even though it's weird. So like doing the live was a challenge. Like I was scared to do it, but I knew I wanted to do it and I knew I would like it. And so I pushed myself to do it. Now I love it, but now I have to pull back on it just a little bit. But you guys know that I like it. And as soon as I get on track with some things, that I'm going to be doing lives. I really would be tempted to see what doing a live would be like at night when I'm half brain dead and perhaps had a glass of wine. What do we think that would be like? Maybe that will be a fun reward for me. Your self-reflection and introspection is great. Must do that too. Yes, I think so, Lori. Absolutely. I think everybody, you can't get better until you know where you are, where you were, where you want to go. I mean, I don't know any other way to be. Like I have like a 12-page master plan. Like it's a sickness, really. Hi, Dana. Thank you so much. Good morning. Love book recommendations and reviews. I would love to do actual book reviews, but I feel like when I'm reading a book, it's more about get out all I can from it, move on to the next one. Cause I do set up like a book challenge for myself. But maybe I'll do a video about the book challenge, how I do it, where I do it, and the books that I'm reading. Cause I really love books. And I've actually thought about, could I do a book channel separate from this? Because I like books so much. Like I wish I could get paid to read and without being an editor or something, like I would love to read books and talk about it. I also wonder, do I have enough to say about it to warrant a whole thing? We'll see. Anyway, but thank you. So chat, yeah, I do have the Reseller Mom Show book club as a section in my Amazon store. So if you just go in the description, there should be a link to my Amazon store, and it's one of the sections there with all the books that I'm reading. Mostly it's business books and chick lit, like straight up Sex and the City, Devil Wears Prada, like take me out of here kind of. Those are the only two books I read, and some parenting books. Okay. Thank you for the emojis. No, you're not rambling. You're doing great. So appreciate your advice. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. I talk really fast. I have a million like thoughts in my head, and then I never know what actually ends up coming out of my mouth, which is why when I do real videos, I make serious notes and then I record them usually like in seconds so that it comes across very comprehensive and like I kind of know what I'm talking about. But I feel like lately, because of time crunches and because I'm just more comfortable now in doing it, I've really let my, God only knows what this personality is, that like it's all coming out, and it is what it is. It's fine. I'm not scared anymore. So we'll just be real. Okay. So on the topic of being real, I did make a few notes because I didn't want to leave anything out, because this is like serious now. Okay. So I've been reselling since June of 2016. Gio was about 6 months old when I decided to, like, just sell some of his baby clothes. And I have an upcoming collaboration. You know who it's with over here, Quemby. So we're going to be putting that out soon. And so I'm not going to tell everything because I'm really excited to share that story. But I have been doing this for a little over 3 years. And in that, I have made a little bit of money. I've made, quote, a lot of money. And I say that in comparison to the little bit of money. And then there have been times like now where this entire year, I have not paid myself anything. $0. Zero. And that's the confession, is that I haven't taken a profit from my business. I haven't made a profit in my business the entire year. And I don't know if that's shocking to you. Like, tell me in the chat what you think about that. Like, I think that's shocking because here I am, a person, a reselling mom that is doing all this work. Like, I get up at 4 a.m. and I do all this work and I think about my business nonstop. And I do all this work and I am on YouTube telling people how I do things, sharing information. And again, I've never said like I'm this expert person or anything, but I have a responsibility as a person that shares information to not present a falsehood. And I don't think I am, because I've never shared my numbers. So or I don't think I have, or if I have at the time, they were true. It's not like I've ever lied about my numbers. Let's put it that way. I've never lied about my numbers. I share more process and systems and time management and reselling mom stuff. I'm not here to tell you how to make $1 million reselling business. I haven't made a $1 million reselling business. I haven't even made, now I will say I have been profitable in the past. When I first started and it was just me and it wasn't a business, it was just a thing. It was profitable. It was profitable practically immediately, right? Because you can buy something or you have something and you sell it for profit and you take that profit and you turn around and you buy some things and, it just kind of snowballs. So, I mean, from the very beginning, the business was profitable. And last year, when I did my taxes, I had turned a profit and everything. But this year, 2019, I have not paid myself. There have been some months where there was profit in the business as far as sales versus expenses. But I personally did not make any money or take any money out of my business. And I felt like now would be the time to share that, because we're talking about goals. We're talking about all this, and all of this is what's fueling my goals for 2020, is that I have lived. And when I say lived, like my husband pays all of our bills, he works, and I'm home with Gio, and this is my extra. And hopefully when it can be a full-time job, it will be a full-time job for myself and perhaps even jobs for others. And as you know, I have a photographer, I have 2 virtual assistants, I have a storage unit, I've got lots of expenses that go along with it. I've made investments in supplies. I bought shelving at nauseum, but I'm done with that. Thank God I filled all of the shelves in my storage unit. I've bought a lot of like infrastructure, or I guess they're more supplies, not infrastructure, but like I bought my sweater shaver. I bought a new scale. I bought a computer for the virtual assistant. Like I bought a lot of things that are investments that are one-time expenses. But I think the two major downfalls of the business in this last year have been that I spent too much on labor and I spent too much on stupid inventory, like inventory that hasn't sold and turned the intended profit. And so I initially took this year, like when I started realizing in January, February that I wasn't being profitable at that point in time, I said, you know what? I'm a follower of Gary Vee. I love listening to everything he says. And at that time, he was talking a lot about like, you need to feed your business. People that take money out of their business are treating it like an ATM and not like a business. And you have to build a business and all this stuff. And so I got all that in my head, and I think misinterpreted that to help justify and rationalize problems in my business, and not really utilizing it as a way to fuel my business in a positive way. And so, he has a mega business and with hundreds of employees and all this stuff. And that's not my little reselling business. Like, that's not the same thing. So yes, you have to feed your business. You can't just take all your profit out or you'll never have anything to reinvest in your business. But you also can't reinvest everything in your business to the point where you aren't making any profit from your business and you're paying your virtual assistant and your photographer and every other Tom, Dick, and Harry that help you to the point where you have no money in your bank account. So like, I pay for Gio's school. That was the agreement my husband and I made. Like, with the money that I'm making from the business, I would pay for Gio's little school. And I have been paying for that. I pay, my gas and my tolls and all of that. I don't take a quote stay-at-home mommy allowance. So I self-fund my own self, basically, even though my husband pays like our household bills and all of that. I don't contribute to the family bills other than I pay for Gio's school and I pay for my own little incidentals. And I don't take money out of our bills to pay for things that I, want. When I go get my toes done at the nail place, I pay for that myself out of whatever money I had before I decided to be a stay-at-home mom, and whatever money I've made through the business. And so, like I said, the past couple of years have been profitable. Some months I paid myself $500 a month. Some months I paid myself $1,200 a month. There were even a couple of months where I was up to almost about $1,800 a month that I was taking out from the business as profit and putting it into my personal account for my salary. And then 2019 happened, and I decided to buy more inventory online so that it could get shipped to me and I could get more in less time. I increased my photographer's pay rate to account for that she was going to be on the books this year. And that was a big hit in cash flow. She went from $1 to $1.50, and we increased listings. I increased a lot of labor for my virtual assistants. And then, like I said, I bought a lot of stupid inventory, a lot of liquidation that wasn't so great. Some was great, but some wasn't so great. And I didn't make good choices. Some bulk purchases of new items that I thought I could get all these leggings. Who doesn't want faux black leather leggings? Everybody doesn't want my stupid faux black leather leggings because nobody's and they're on my clearance sale for $5 right now. So it's stupid to buy them. But I love a good multiple quantity listing. It sucks me in every time. So I say all of this not to tell you what a terrible businesswoman I am, because sometimes that's what I feel like, but to tell you that it could all look good from the outside. We talk about this on Instagram a lot. You might have a lot of packages sitting there at your feet, your cute little IKEA bags, your cute little whatever shoes and stuff. But like, that doesn't mean you made money on any of them. You could have made zero money on all of them. Like, no one knows. And so I put this out there to be truthful and just say it and share that. And then to invite feedback and questions and comments, because I'm curious as to if anybody even cares. They're like, what do you care? Like, I'm doing my own business. I don't care what your business is doing. Or are you like, oh my God, you had me duped. I thought you were doing so great and you've let me, like, I would like to know what you think about this. So put it in the chat, put it in the comments if you're watching it on playback. And maybe this is the downfall of the whole channel. Who knows? I don't know. But hopefully not. I don't think so. I think the reseller mom community that have gathered in this space are actually pretty nice and are pretty forgiving because we all get it. And I think no one really talks about the really downside of what can happen to a reselling business. And one of the things that I think happened to mine is that I treated it like a business before I treated it like a job. I think I struggle to put into words kind of what happened basically, besides overspending and undermaking and earning, is that I was so concerned about setting up systems and processes and protecting my time and being accountable to my employees. Well, they're not, freelancers or whatever. And, having operations and a brand and, all of these things that a business needs before I worried that Rebecca Frida, reseller mom, needs a job. So yes, my job is taking care of Geo in the home and all of that. But I mean, I do a really good job with Geo, but we all know I kind of suck at dealing with my house and cooking and all of those other things. So let's not be surprised that I'm some stellar domestic. But where I really want to excel is like where I've always really excelled is at my job. I've always done a really good job. I've always been a great employee. And I've been so worried about a business that I forgot to be a good employee for myself and earn the money that I need as a person and as a contributor to my family and whatever. And my VA made more money than me this year. My other VA made more money than me this year. And my photographer made more money than me this year. And so that has to stop. That has to stop. So that's why I should have probably done this one first, but I was scared to say it. And so I did my goals one first. And then this one, I probably should have flip-flopped them. But this has to stop. I will be profitable in January. I think a lot of it has to do with a couple of things. Like a lot of the changes that I'm making, I think will help with it. And then I think a lot of it is really my own mindset to stop fooling myself and rationalizing that I'm investing in my business. I'm doing what Gary Vee said. I'm feeding my business. I'm making investments. This is going to pay off in the long run. This is a front-loaded expense. All these things that I was telling myself is now replaced with, did you hit your goal today for like you do not get to sleep until you hit your sales goal, Rebecca. And on top of that, because it can't all just be about sales, because year over year, I'm actually above my sales from last year. So I've sold more and made less than last year thus far in the year. I mean, who knows? Maybe I have a chance to turn it around in the next month and a half of the year. But who knows? I'll have a big Black Friday sale and, I'll be in the black. But I am going to be about sales, being ruthless about hitting my sales goal. I've got a lot of really cool ideas to share with you about how I'm doing that. But the most important thing now is profit. And I don't think I was as ruthlessly focused on profit as I was on other things. I was ruthless on my time and I wasn't ruthless on profit. And so I was making sacrifices for my profit to save my time. And I can't do that anymore. My time is changing. I am getting more time. Gio can do more things on his own. There is time that he's spending with my husband where they do their stuff and I can do my own thing. Life is changing and I need to change my mindset of this scarcity mentality of time and that I don't control my time as a reselling mom and that my life is not my own and all of that. Because there was a time where I felt very trapped and sad because while I love being a mom, I love Gio. You guys know I love Gio. I love being a mom. But for a person who's very career ambitious, wants to literally take over the world, I feel trapped sometimes when I can't just go sourcing when I want to, or he's napping and I can't go and pick up a local closet clear out, or I couldn't go to a clearance sale at the local consignment store because I had nobody to watch him and it's not a place for a little boy to be. So, sometimes I get like really trapped, by the constraints, but I do need to open up my mind and be more cognizant of that it is changing and I am seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and that my opportunities are getting more plentiful. And YouTube has a lot to do with that. I've made a lot of great connections with people. I've gotten a lot from the comments and the feedback that you all have given me. So I appreciate that. And hopefully in return or on the front end, I've given you some value about how to save time and how to possibly make more money, maybe for you, because it don't work for me. And, things like that. So, I don't think any of my make more money ideas are bad, though. It's just I also made poor expense decisions. So I don't think that any of my advice and thoughts and ideas on making more money and doing more to get sales are bad, because I have made more sales. I think it was 58,000 in 2018 in gross sales. And this year I'm at about 65 in gross sales. At this point, I still have a lot of coat selling season left to go this year. So I'm hoping that if I could end like 70, I would be happy. I mean, my goal was like 120, of course. I was like, I did 58,000 in sales last year in 2018. So that's like 60. So let's double it. Let's do that. So that's easy. And so that was my goal for this year. And which is why I said this year when I was making goals for 2020, no more crazy nonsense goals that don't mean anything. So that's why I said, how much time do I have? What can I do in that time? Let's stretch myself a little bit so I have something to reach for, and then make goals that correspond and map back to the time. So again, if you haven't seen that live, go back and watch that, because that overarching thought, I think, would be very helpful to a lot of reselling moms. So I don't want to beat a dead horse. I mean, I've said my confession. Let me just see, because there were two. Oh, somebody accepted my offer. Very nice. I just want to see if there's anything else I wanted to make mention of. I didn't diversify my income, and I didn't. Only now am I talking about proactively selling. If you talked to me way back when, I wasn't talking about proactively selling. I was talking about saving time. And so now I will be focused on my sales goal every day. And and granted, there are going to be some days you don't meet your sales goal, and that's fine. But there's going to be days that you exceed your sales goal. And so that'll make up for them. But for me, if I can every day be completely on track with every single sale that I make and how that's getting me to my goal every day, I will make it happen. Because what you pay attention to and what you measure, you will achieve. And so for me, it's going to be sales, and it's going to be profit, and expenses are going to be the afterthought. And meaning that, like, I'm actually, these are my my little thank you cards that I put. I'm going to stop ordering these. Like, this isn't going to save me that much money, but I'm trying to get myself into the mindset of, you don't have to do an expense just because everybody else is doing that expense. You don't have to. Who says you have to have this? Like, yes, it's nice for branding. I may not even keep Mom Roar forever. Honestly, I'm kind of sick of it. But, like, you never know. I mean, that's what it is. But, like, I'm not even on Kitizen as much as I should be. I'm not even on Tradesy anymore. These things get outdated because I change stuff. So I'm going to go through all the ones I have. I'm not going to be ordering anymore. I am at the point in my online reselling area that, like, for feedback and stuff, that I don't need to ask for it anymore. I think it's very important when you are in the beginning to ask for it. And I think that that's where this comes into play. And yes, it's nice to thank your customers, but honestly, we all know all they want is a clean item that shows up professionally shipped. They don't care that this is in here. They don't save this and put it on their wall, and they don't, put it with a magnet next to their kid's little picture. Like, It goes like that. So I'm not spending my money on it anymore. And there's going to be a lot of things like that. I haven't thought all of those things through to share them with you yet, but a lot of that stuff is no. And also too, I figured out that it takes a lot of time if you add it up to put them in your bags every time, to put them in here, to put it on top of your item and put it through and make sure it looks nice and then close all that. Like that's an extra 1 or 2 seconds probably for every bag. Hello, I'm doing this myself now. I don't have that kind of time. So going. Anyway, I didn't diversify my income, so I am working on that. If you were on the live last time, you'll know I'm going to be working a lot more on my print on demand. I'm going to be working a lot more to give closet reviews for Poshmark closets. If you're interested, that's going to be on the Reseller, or it is on the Reseller Mom Show Etsy store. I'm going to try to talk more about the affiliate products, not because, I mean, yes, I want to make money with it. Yes, hello, hi, I'm here to make money, but to share information and make money from sharing information is not a bad thing. It's all in how you do it and how you approach it. And I don't think I've been sleazy or salesy on really anything. I mean, every once in a while I'm like, but for the most part, I feel like my goal is to bring you value. One, because I don't have time to be like doing sleazy sales pitches, and you don't have time to be watching them, so it wouldn't work anyway. Like, I want to, what is that? I heard a really weird noise. I want to like put out valuable content to help you, because I know that everybody doesn't think the same way that I do. And so that's helpful. But also it helps me be better because I want to share the best stuff with you. And I think that's the biggest thing that I learned from the YouTube channel, and why I'm using it as a reward for myself to get my finances on track. Like, if you, as an example, if you did watch the live last time, if I if I hit my monthly sales goal, so in January, if I hit, what is my sales goal? $5,000 in reselling sales, then I'm buying myself Starbucks and I get to make an extra YouTube video that week. So, or that month or whatever. So I'm using YouTube as a reward for myself for hitting these monetary goals. There's a couple other that I have, but I need to realign everything. And if something is out of whack in your business, I hope that you will think about where you need to realign. It's probably not the same way that I need to realign. It's probably completely different. Maybe you need to focus on your time. Maybe I'm done focusing on my time and now I need to focus on my money. So that's the confession. Let me go back up in here and start talking to you guys about all of this stuff and see what you are saying. If you have any questions, put them in, and then I'm going to wrap it up in probably a few minutes because little Gio needs a ride home. I do everything myself as a full-time-ish mom. How often do you source and list per day with your new goals? Sorry if you mentioned this already. I've been binge watching all your vids. Thank you so much, Trisha. I appreciate binge watch away. So this year I was all over the map with a photographer, with myself, with a VA lister, anywhere from 5 per day when I didn't have a lot of items to up to 20 per day when I did have a lot of items. For me, the bottleneck is either in the sourcing or the photography. It's never in the listing because my VA does it and she gets paid per listing. And so she wants to list as many items as she can. So she'd be happy if I had 100 items to list a day. So it's all on how much I can buy that I should be buying, and all about how much can be photographed in a meaningful time way. So going forward, it's going to be 10 a day. I think I can actually feasibly buy 70 items a week and photograph 70 items a week. And then my VA can list 70 items a week. I feel like that's doable. If I don't, and I get 55 one week, because that's all that was worthy of buying to put in my store, then it's going to be 55. And it is what it is. And what I set up with my VA, one of the changes to take the pressure off, is I'm no longer paying her per listing, because I always felt like I'm telling her, listen, we got to do 10 a day. That's how much she's expecting to make from me. So what I've done is incorporated that into a flat salary I guess you could say, but it's still per everything, but it's just, I'm going to be paying her one fee a month that's going to cover up to 10 listings a day. If I only have 5 listings, guess what? I'm still paying her for 10 listings a day incorporated into her salary. So it will behoove me to find the right amount, but at least I can manageably know what that expense is, that monthly nut for her. It's not a variable anymore. And I don't have the pressure to have that many listings, because it's more important to me to have the best listings and the best items than it is to over or underpay her. So that's what I'm trying to incent. I'm trying to realign everything so that it's working in the right direction for myself. Hopefully that helps. Brandy's Vintage Treasures, not shocking. I wrote myself small checks for about 3 months this year, but I also bought several things for business. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And everybody's at different stages, and, you know, sometimes you're putting all of that. If you've been paying for school, that is paying yourself. And that's right. I mean, you're right. I have been paying for his school, but I haven't. So I've been paying that out of my savings that I had from prior paying myself. I've never taken any money out of the business this year to do anything. So yes, but it's from before. It's not from now. Hi, Rebecca. Morning, everyone. Morning. It's great time. It's great to get insight on others. Yes. Congrats on the 5K. Thank you. Yep. For those that weren't here before, 5,000 items sold on Poshmark. If you are interested in a shirt like this, let me know. I have not put them up in the Etsy shop. I don't know if anybody else would want something like this or not. I don't want to do it if nobody wants it. Let's see. Having a year like you've had is the most educational experience you can have. Yes, that's true. This is Restyle Secrets. My husband and I have had a series of small business over the last 40 years, and controlling costs is the most essential and most difficult aspect of a self-funded business. Yes, your list of new strategies is great indication you're analyzing and learning and making changes. Good for you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, hopefully, because this took a long time, but I said, like, I have to spend this time, because I've said before, like, I hate spending time on making plans just for them to go out the window, because I love making plans. I'll make a plan all day. I'll make a plan for you if you want it. But, like, I need something that will stick and will really make sense for this year and get me to where I want to go. So I'm really hoping that this is it. I think this issue is not uncommon. Resellers usually either focus on the big picture or short run. You are focused on the long run, and there's nothing wrong with either. Thank you, Brandy's Vintage Treasures. Our biggest issues as resellers is balance. It's tough when you wear all the hats. Yep. I remember when my husband wanted to do add a deep fryer to our small bakery. The cost for fire protection equipment would have required 1,000x increase in donut sales to pay for. Oh my God. That's crazy. You should have never said donut. Like, now I want a donut. Like, I'm just thinking, like, ooh, fresh donuts. Oh, that's awesome. Let's see. This is a fantastic chat group. So nice, supportive, and smart. Thanks for leading this, Rebecca. This is time well spent for me. Good. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. I really hope so. I really, really hope so. Hey, Dwight Norris. Liquidating eBay currently and changing to something that will get me to my dream day. Awesome. Actually, I would love to know more about what your dream day is. You've been very supportive of the channel, and I appreciate it. And you've left a lot of really insightful comments. And I feel like when I talk about something and then you leave a comment, it's always like we're thinking about the same things at the same time or something, but like completely, I don't know. In your videos, you were saying you were looking for cheaper self-sealing bags. I did find some on Amazon. It's 1,000 bags for $35.60 if you set up through their subscribe and save. So I haven't done the subscribe and save. That's interesting, because I haven't noticed. Maybe I just haven't done the math to see if it is cheaper or not. Yes, I would like to know about that. $35.60 for 1,000 bags. And it's the zipper kind, because I don't want the kind where you have to pull off the thing, because those are like the devil in my world. They stick to my finger, those little things that you pull off to like stick it. They don't always close well. Like, I just really love the zipper seal. So if they are, I will definitely be interested in that. And thank you. Someone had mentioned that eBay had them too. And I searched on eBay, but I didn't find them for the price that she was saying. So I don't know what was up with that. But that's the problem, is sometimes the prices are not stable. So, but I did a video on planning out your expenses, and hasn't really been getting very many views. Maybe nobody cares. But for me, it was a great exercise in taking all of my expenses that come up again year after year. So not one-time expenses, things that, you have to buy bags, you have to buy labels, whatever, and planning them out throughout the year based on other expenses. Like I know that on the quarterly, I have to pay my Florida state sales tax. So that's not a month that I want to be adding Amazon purchases onto, because I'm already going to be in an extra expense situation because it's a quarterly expense. It's not monthly. So I added everything up. I, averaged it out per month to get like an idea of what I should be putting away per month, the same throughout the year, whether or not I spend it that month or not. So maybe March doesn't have a lot of expenses. I still put away $500 for expenses, but I only spend $300. But that's going to be good because come April, when I pay my Florida state sales tax, I'm going to need that extra money. So I've kind of planned it out to where I'm going to be making some big supplies purchases at the end of this year to set me up for next year. And then plan them out, and I've planned them out accordingly over the 2020 year as well, so that in certain months, certain purchases happen, and in other months, other purchases happen, to balance everything out across the year so that you're not having a poor cash flow month every so often. Woohoo, 5K. That is awesome. Thank you, Rachel. So, okay. If anyone has anything else, this is your last, let's see. Collecting the numbers and data is my bottleneck. Don't have anything in place. Don't know where to start. Help. Collecting the numbers and data. You mean like making a spreadsheet for yourself to put all the information in? Yeah, I mean, that can be a problem. So if that's what you mean, I did a video on my custom spreadsheet that I have. A lot of it I built myself over time. Like, you set yourself up with something, start using that, and then add to it. And so we'd add a column and start tracking this. And then we'd slowly add a column and start tracking that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Don't go back and redo everything from before. Just keep adding to it and improving it as you go. And then eventually you'll get it to where it's tracking a lot of good information. Then maybe you need some help setting up some formulas or some functions to kind of get like the analytics out of it. And that's when I hired this lady on Upwork to help me with it. And I will release her information. There's someone on Instagram that asked me for it, and I haven't given it yet because I want her to finish mine first. And then I'll give out her information because I know that she would like, some other clients and stuff. So if anyone is interested in her information, send me a DM on Instagram because that's where I have everything right now. And when she's done with my stuff, then I will share her info to those that have asked. And then because I know she doesn't have a lot of time, so I'm sure she can't handle more than one person at a time. But if you're interested in having someone build you some sort of a custom sheet, she was very good and reasonably priced, and my non-accounting speak made sense to her, and then she put it into like, the proper way. So I was like, I needed to kind of know this, and she would make a thing for it. By the way, embarrassed to admit that. Don't ever be embarrassed here. I just told you I didn't make any money this year. So, don't be embarrassed. And, this is a no judgment place. You have to do what works for you. I don't, and don't worry about that. Okay, I'm going to go because I have to go get Geo. Sure thing. I will tell you what my plans are. Sounds good, Dwight. Thank you. So I wish everyone a great Monday, a great week. I hope you have great sales, and work on analyzing your business. What do you need to change? What needs to be improved? Maybe nothing needs to be improved and you just need to do more of what you're already doing. That's fine too. So just take a little bit of time to analyze, self-reflect, get some perspective, stop working in the business for a little bit and work on your business and see what you come up with. Have some pondering, have some executive time. Anybody remembers like a while ago, and like they said, Trump had all this executive time, and I'm not going there on the whatever with him, but but I did take away executive time. So I'm like, I'm having executive time now. So take some executive time and have a great day. I'm going to go. Yeah. Thrifty mommy, Chloe, purge out your inventory. Yes, do it. Get rid of all the stuff that is not selling and that hasn't sold in a long time or that should have never been in your store to begin with. I'm constantly doing that. Hopefully there will be a day where I don't have to do that purging anymore because everything I'm buying is just awesome that it just sells in a given reasonable amount of time. So that's what we should all be striving for. Okay, got to get going. Have a nice day, everyone. See you later. Bye.